my goodness. Am I on? I am on. Am I in the right place? I think I am. Welcome. Oh, yay. We have some people joining me. My regulars. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. I've been really busy. Had a crazy weekend, really busy with family, lots of fun. And then I got sick on Sunday. Not bad sick. I just ended up with a migraine. And I don't know if any of you know this, but I actually have corn allergies. And I think it was something I ate when I went out to eat on Saturday night. And then I woke up with a headache on Sunday. And for those of you that know me, I had kind of cured my migraines because I eliminated corn from my diet. So I haven't had to deal with too many migraines lately. So this was a shock, having to deal with a full-blown migraine on Sunday. So when I get a migraine, it takes about 12 hours to kind of work itself through. So I was kind of pathetic for a while. And then I had some sort of allergy with it, and I was sneezing a lot. But I started diffusing my oils, and I felt a little better, and I was able to finish up all of the product shares. I had some help from my daughter over the weekend, and we got it done. So I put those in the mail today. That's a big load off my mind. You can still get a product share. I'll place my next order for product shares just before the end of the month. So I'm just taking orders right now, reservations, and then when I find out my final count of how many people still want product shares, I will get that order placed. And I always try to do it the way Stampin' Up! Tells us to do it, which is to collect the orders, place the order, and then divvy up the shares. And so that's what I do. I also only offer it for a limited time, so you only get these product shares through January 31st. That's the last day I'll take orders for them. So I think that's all the housekeeping I have for you. It's great to be here. We're going to do a couple of Valentine cards today. I've had some fun helping some of my customers get their Valentine card orders placed because they want plenty of time to make their Valentine cards. So I just placed another one this morning, and I'm placing another one for a different customer as soon as this Facebook Live is over. So excited about that. Oh yeah, somebody's asking me what I do about migraines. There's not a lot you can do, or at least I have found that diffusing some eucalyptus sort of helps, and peppermint, putting peppermint, drops of peppermint on my temples and kind of right here, and then at the back where my brainstem connects to my skull, or my brainstem connects to my backbone. I'm not sure. I don't know any technical terms medically, but that helps when I put a drop of peppermint there. So I use Young Living essential oils, but I know there's lots of good quality brands out there. Oh my gosh, once again, how is it? I never noticed this until I'm actually on live, that my glasses are so dirty I can barely see out of them. So anyway, yes, I am feeling better. So you're probably wondering what I'm going to give away. Well, if you saw the little sneak peek of the card that I'm doing, there's not a lot on that card to give away, and the couple of little sequins that I'm using on that card I don't want to give away because I'm in the middle, of course, of doing product shares, so I want to hang on to some of those in case I need them for future product shares. So I am going to give away what's on the second card that we're going to do. Actually, the second card that we're going to do today uses some Whisper White Flax ribbon, which is really pretty. So I'll give away a yard of that to each of our winners. And our winners can pick which card they want because I can easily make up these cards. They're not that hard, although there is quite a bit of big shot work. So I'm going to give you some tips on the big shot for making these cards as well. Oh yes, I do try to sleep my migraines away as well. I have an oil called Vetiver, which I put on my big toe when I really can't sleep or when I really need to get to sleep, and that seems to sort of relax me enough that I can fall asleep. So sleeping a migraine away is probably the best thing, and that's what I did yesterday when I woke up about 5 in the morning. It was excruciating because I seem to wake up with them versus getting them throughout the day. So I tried to take care of myself the best I could early on, and then I slept until 11 o'clock once the pain subsided enough that I could actually get to sleep. And then after that, it was kind of touch and go until about 4 p.m., but it was I was decent enough that I could get some things done yesterday afternoon, so that was good. All right, so yes, I said what the giveaway was. How do you get in the drawing? So those of you that have been watching me a while know this. You're just going to share it on your timeline and let me know in a comment that you shared, or you're going to make a comment as this video progresses or before I actually do the drawing on Wednesday. And so you can catch the replay, no problems. Just let me know where you're watching from. Maybe let me know what card you like the best. Let me know, if you've got your Valentine's done. I mean, whatever kind of you want to chit chat about, feel free to go ahead and chit chat. And one thing I like seeing too is some of my other followers chit chat back with you. So it's really neat. You can kind of get some neat ideas and kind of chit chat with each other. So I love Facebook Lives. I love it for that reason. It just builds such nice community. So thank you for that. I always share something that makes me really happy. That was one of my New Year's resolutions, to share that on videos. And I have a downline member named Doreen Bai, and she has been a downline member for quite a while now. I want to say, oh boy, it's probably 6 or 7 years. And she does lots of craft fairs, and so she does a lot of 3D items, which, as you know, I don't do a lot of. But she had called me before our demonstrator meeting last week and asked me how many people were going to be in attendance, because she wanted to bring them a little treat. So she brought little 3D Valentine treats for everybody, and I'm going to share what she brought. So I think it's time for me to flip this camera down, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so this is what Doreen shared, and it is so cute. It's a cute little diaper fold that all she did was punch a little hole at the bottom of the diaper fold. This looks like a 4x4 diaper fold. I think in this one she was using, I don't know if this is designer series paper from a discontinued 6x6 paper stack, or if this used to be in 12x12. I don't remember. But neither here nor there. If you're using 12x12 paper and you want to make a little mini diaper fold, I believe she was using 4x4 squares for that. And then of course she just took our layering ovals, or no, this is not the layering ovals. This is the stitch shape. She took the stitch shape and did a little cutout that holds the diaper fold kind of together. So it's really cute. And then another thing she did, which I just thought this was brilliant. I don't know why I've never thought of it through the years, because I've done things like this. You know how when you get these little suckers, they have all this packaging around them. and that kind of spoils what they look like if you're trying to make them really cute in a 3D. So what she did is she just tucked all that packaging in. And then she put it into this little cute diaper fold. I'm losing the little ribbon here. And she put it in there. Whoops, there we go. I'm getting it. She tucked all that in and put this into that cute little diaper fold. And look at how much cuter that is without all that packaging around there. So I thought that was extremely clever. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Lori. Hi, Reba. Hi, Deb. Hi, Amy. I'm so glad you are here. Welcome. All right, let me share with you the cards we're going to make. These are the 2 cards we're going to make today. This card on the right is a card that I created for the demonstrator demo meeting swap that we had this past month. And then this card on the left is what I'm going to make first, because that has the flax on it, and I'm going to be sharing. No, I'm not. Nope, I've got this mixed up. I'm going to make the demo meeting card first. The reason is we need some of these little extra heart pieces to decorate this card right here. So I have to cut out all these bajillion little hearts and turn them all into little bitty stickers so that I can decorate the second card that I'm going to make. The little flax ribbon is what I'll be giving away. And then I don't know if you can see this real well, but this is one of those cute little leaf trinkets that's part of the Rooted in Nature product suite. And so I just thought that was just a nice little touch on this. You know, you don't have to go every single thing doesn't have to be a heart or sparkle on a Valentine's card. You can kind of add some different embellishments. This card, it's very hard to see the embellishments here, but I'm using something new. It's the Gingham Gala self-adhesive sequins, and they're super cute. I'm going to hold it up to the camera and try to hold it really still so you can see those sequins. They're really adorable, and I just love them. Okay. Oh goodness, boy, I held that pretty close to the camera. Well, I guess you could see the sequins that way. Okay, so let me get started, and we'll show you the bundle. This is the stitched shape framelits that you can get with the stamp set. This is the meant to be stamp set right here. And these stitched, well, it's not stitched shape. Boy, I'm losing my tongue today. It's the Be Mine stitched framelits. That's what coordinates with the meant to be bundle. So during the catalog month that the framelits and the stamp set are introduced together at the same time, it's called a bundle, and you get to purchase it for 10% off. And so this has been a popular one with my customers, as well as the oh boy, my mind just went blank, but I think it's the All My Love product suite. There's a bundle in there as well. But we are going to use the All My Love Designer Series paper on this card, so that's kind of fun. The other thing we're going to use, in addition to all of these fantastic little pieces here, in fact, this is going to be a feature on our card, and we're going to make all these little sticker hearts. And there's just so much going on in this. I mean, you will love working with these framelits. And who doesn't want to have hearts? So we've got them back. We're excited about that. So I'm going to set that aside. And the other thing we're going to work with are the new rectangles from Stampin' Up. And these are also in our Occasions catalog. They can be purchased with the, I think it's in, is it Incredible Like You? Or is it something else? Hold on. Oh no, now I'm not going to be able to find it. You know what? One of you ladies I know has a catalog in front of you. Help! I need you to tell me what bundle this is part of. I think I went over it and I can't remember, and I have it somewhere on my shelf. So if somebody, help, if somebody knows where these are, what stamp set this is bundled with. But I am just using them by themselves today, but you can purchase it with a stamp set, or you can get them by yourselves. But this is stitched rectangles. They are awesome. And if you have trouble figuring out your layers, you don't have to have trouble anymore. Oh, thank you, Deb. I knew Deb would have the answer. It goes with Amazing Life. So these rectangles go with Amazing Life. Thanks, Deb. I so appreciate it. But you don't have to think too hard with these rectangles, because if you have them, you can use them on any piece of scrap paper that's big enough for your card and cut out your card layers, and you're going to have great looking layers every time. And so I use the rectangles on both cards, on my 2 layers here and then on my layers here. So I'm excited to share with you that as well. So I think the first thing we're going to do is get all of the little things out we need to make this pretty card. I should show you the inside real quick too. So the inside looks like this, just quick and easy. I'll probably do that first just because it's so quick and easy, and I love to do the inside of my cards. We're going to do, I think we're going to do an envelope. We're just going to stamp a couple of little hearts on it. We have to see if I packed an envelope. Oh, I did. Good. You know what? We're going to do our inside and our envelope first. So we've got the lovely lipstick. We're just going to open that up. We're going to grab that little bitty tiny heart, and we're just going to stamp it 3 times. So I like to put a little bit of love, stamped love, on the fronts of my envelopes, because when you get this in the mailbox and you see those teeny little tiny stamped images, it just kind of gets you excited. You can hardly wait to get in the house so that you can see what the card looks like, because there's your hint right there. So we're going to set this aside because that's our stamped envelope. Then I'm going to do what? I'm going to stamp the inside. So let me show you what we're doing. We have some thick Whisper White paper. I love, love, love our thick Whisper White paper for cards, because our thin Whisper White paper, that is the number is 100/730, because I've ordered it a million times, I swear, since I joined Stampin' Up. That paper is great for stamping on, but it's a little bit thinner. It's not quite as sturdy. So your cards can sometimes be a little floppy, especially if you start adding layers. So that is why I choose to use Thick Whisper White when I'm making basically a white card that needs to stand up on its own. So this card is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and then I've gone ahead and I've just scored it at 5 1/2. And this is ready to go. So I'm going to do the inside first. So I'm going to grab, oh, maybe we won't do that little tiny strip of paper. I think I lost it. Or I just never got it over here. But regardless, I'm looking over at my messy counter and I don't see it. But the paper we're using is All My Love Designer Series paper. And before I send this out, if somebody wins this on Wednesday, I'll make sure I add this little tiny strip. It's going to be 1/2 inch by 4 inches. We're just going to add a little accent here on the left. And we're using this really pretty light pink one. But there's so many pretty papers in here. In fact, I had to buy extra paper of this because I cut out, see, look. Your heart cutout cuts out this shape, these shapes. I cut out so many of them because I didn't get all my Christmas cards out on time, so I needed to make an additional 70 cards to mail out to my downline members so that they can get a Valentine's card instead of a Christmas card. So I've been busy. My assistant actually is finishing the assembly for me. So as soon as I get those back and I get those mailed out to my downline, then I can share that card with you as well. All right, so boy, I'm sort of sad that I didn't pack that little tiny strip of paper, but that's okay. I'm just going to pretend that it's here. So I'm just going to put this over here about 1/2 inch in because I want to kind of visualize that so that when I stamp my Happy Valentine's Day, it's going to be right in the center. And I like to go about 1/3 of the way down when I'm stamping on the inside panel of my card. I've seen people put it directly in the center, which is fine. I've seen people put it really high up, which is good if you want to write a lot. But to me, it looks better if it's about 1/3 of the way down. That's just how I do it. Okay, so let me grab the Big Shot now, and we're going to go ahead and do those really cool layers. So we've got a piece of lovely lipstick scrap, and this is going to be our first layer, and then we're going to take the All My Love Designer Series paper, and again, I just kind of have it sized big enough to fit these rectangles from Amazing Life Bundle. Thank you, Deb. Deb saves me all the time because I can never remember anything, and I don't know if she has the catalog memorized or if she is just you know, sitting there with the catalog in front of her. She probably looks at my schedule and goes, oh, Kay's on today. I better grab my catalog. She knows what I'm like. All right, so I am using, I should double check what I'm using. I've got the magnetic platform here. Then I've got a cut plate. I think I'm going to do this one at a time. So I'm going to put this in at an angle. Then you don't get that really sharp cracking noise. Have you ever noticed that when you're cutting with your pieces that have a big definite end to them? You can get a cracking noise. So you can avoid that just by putting it in at an angle. Then it doesn't make that loud cracking noise. Oh, Deb says she doesn't actually have it memorized, but she keeps the catalog close by. I should do that. I could take a lesson from that. So there we go. We have our first layer. Oh, look at this. And I actually cut this so perfectly. It looks almost like this could be a fun little layer on a card too. So maybe don't get rid of all of your scraps. You could probably use those in some creative fashion. All right, then we're going to take the Designer Series paper and do the same thing. Just going to run that through the Big Shot. And you know, I'm kind of inspired now. I want to make sure that I sort of have this lined up so that maybe I can use the outer edges of this in another card. Not that I really was paying attention to it when I was cutting it for this video, but it just occurred to me now that that's a good idea. All right, you heard the cracking? Sometimes when, see, I had it too straight on. If you do it really straight on to the Big Shot, it makes that cracking noise. If I would have angled it, we wouldn't have heard that. So that's my tip for you. If you don't like that loud crack, just angle it. So here again, here's another one that's kind of cute that you could use again. So there we go, 2 perfect layers. So I'm going to put this out of the way. Then we need to do, whoops, we don't want it to get out of the way too far because we have one more thing we need to do. Let me grab the heart framelit. And then I have another piece of scrap paper. This is Whisper White, the traditional Whisper White. This is not the thick Whisper White. It's the regular Whisper White. And it does such a great job. Whoops, I should bring this into the camera so you can see what I'm doing. This is our lovely lipstick, and I'm just inking up this heart. But the Whisper White does such a great job in that the stamping with Whisper White just comes out so crisp and so perfect every time. And then we've got a little sentiment that we're going to put in here, and it says, "You make me happy." So that's pretty generic. That could go to a guy or a girl or a friend or a relative or a neighbor. All right, so I'm just going to set that in. Give that a second. There it is. And now what we're going to do is cut that out with the Big Shot as well. So I'm going to move the ink pad out of the way, bring the Big Shot back into the camera. And again, I'm using my magnetic plate because the thing with the magnetic plate is it sort of holds that on there, so I don't have to worry about it. And I know it's going to cut it out just perfectly. So then I take my plate that I don't cut with and roll that through. And now we have our perfectly cut heart. Except there's one more little piece to this. We want to have a ruffled edge, and the ruffled edge is inside this die. So we have to get that out. So I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I've got the little poker end here, and I'm just going to, whoops, that landed on the floor. Just going to poke these three edges here where the end of the heart is, and then I'm going to pull that out because we want to piece that back onto the heart to give that heart kind of a ruffly edge. All right, so let's do that next, and I swear this is going to come together pretty quick. Oh, except guess what? We have more Big Shot stuff to do. So I'm going to get this out of the way for a second because I want to talk to you about this. This little guy right here. He looks like this, and it is very, very, very hard to glue all those itty bitty tiny teeny little lines onto your card. So we're going to turn it into a sticker. So the way that we do that is Stampin' Up! Sells multi-purpose adhesive sheets. So these are the Sizzix adhesive sheets, and they're permanent. You can purchase them from Stampin' Up! And they're 6 by 12 inches. So what I do is I typically line them up, and well, if I had, where's my sheet? I could show you this if I had my sheet. Where did my sheet go? Hold on, everyone. I really was organized. Well, this must be it. I thought I had a separate sheet. I'm just going to open this up, but I don't. Hold on, I'll open this up and just show you what this looks like so that you know how to use it. So what you have to do is you have to actually pull the adhesive backing off the sheet. So once I've pulled that off, what I do then is I just put my cardstock right on it. And this happens to be a sheet that I trimmed because I wanted to make sure that, you know, I didn't have a lot of excess. So I figured out that I could get 6 hearts going this way and 2 hearts going this way. And so this is basically 6 inches wide by 11 inches tall. And after I took the adhesive backing off, I just layered this on the top, and now it's almost ready to be a sticker. I just have to run it through the Big Shot machine. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to use the smaller piece just because it's easier. Going to grab the Big Shot back, and we're going to set this with the sticker side down. We're going to set this just like this, and then I'm going to run it through the Big Shot. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that if you need to make sure that it's cutting through completely, be sure that you, like, this is another reason I wanted to use a skinny edge, is because you want to run it through either you know, on one of the sides. Because if you run it through the middle, you may not get a clean cut through. Here, I'll run it up here. That way you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to run it through on one of the edges of the Big Shot, and that way I am guaranteed to get a better cut. Except I have the wrong plate on here. I want my cut plate on here. All right, so I'm going to keep it up here, just like this. Then I'm going to take my non-cut plate. I'm going to run it through. And it sounds like it's going all the way through, but just to double check, make sure all of those little edges catch. I'm going to run it backwards through. And then I've had it's run through twice. So then what I can do is I can lift it up and just double check the back and make sure that everything looks like it's cut through. And this does look like it's cut through. So I'm going to set that aside. Oh yes, my goodness, the hearts are starting to fall out all over the place. So now I can take the Big Shot out of the way. We're actually done with it. And we can start assembling this pretty card. So I'm going to get my card base back in the picture. I'm just going to do this kind of fast. So I'm just going to use multi-purpose liquid glue. And we'll just run a little segment of that around. And now this paper does sort of seem to have an up and a down, or based on every individual piece of paper you might want to check, and I kind of think this looks more like the up spot. Every little piece of paper is going to look different, so I kind of try to look and see if it looks like, you know, I don't want my flowers all upside down. To me, this looks like upside down, don't you think? So I want to make sure that it looks like this when I put it on the card. All right, then the other cool thing is, you know, I don't use glue with Whisper White if it's the thin Whisper White. Well, this is our thick Whisper White, and the glue lines do not show through. So I'm very happy to use glue on this. And since we don't have a ribbon wrap or anything, we don't have to worry. We can just glue this right on here, just like so. So this card is going to go pretty quick now. All right, so then we're going to take all these cute little hearts, and I'm just going to pop them out because now they're all stickers. They've all turned into little stickers, so we can add them anywhere we want, on the insides of our card, on just anywhere. And then there's a couple of pieces that I'm going to grab my poker for because they're not hearts, so I don't want them mixed up with my hearts, so I'm going to poke those out separate and put those straight into the garbage because they're just like airspace between the hearts. So let me get those poked out. Thank you everyone for sharing the video. For those of you that are watching live, it's fun to see that you've already shared. I appreciate that. It helps me find new customers, and that's really essential if I'm going to stay in business with Stampin' Up. So thank you very much. All right, so here are all the little hearts. We're just going to leave that little pile off to the side. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm just going to lift away this like sticker backing. Pull that away. And then we're just going to set this right here, sort of to the right, and then maybe about I don't know, not quite a ½ inch up from this bottom layer. And then we just press it on. And then, just to make sure it's really pressed, burnish it kind of from the other side. And that way you know that it's really stuck on there. And it is. It's stuck on there really good. Then we're going to take that little heart cutout that we did, along with the little lacy ruffle that we want to put on it. And what we're going to do is flip that around. And I don't remember, I've made so many of these that I can't remember if I've shown you this before or not. I kind of think I haven't. But what I do is to attach this little lace layer to the heart, is I just do it with Scotch tape. So I'm just going to add a couple of little pieces here so that heart lace layer is attached now back onto this heart, because it does cut it through, which is fine. And I've seen people kind of layer the lace, sort of offset it from the heart, which looks really pretty too. But now I have a really pretty look right here. So all we need to do is add dimensionals, and then our card will be almost finished. So we're going to add 3 dimensionals. And I will just scoot these little adhesive backings off. And then we're just going to set this, I don't know, I think probably about right here. I think that looks good. Nope, I think I want it a little more over here. I don't want it too close to this right edge. I think I'm gonna set it right there. Perfect. Oh, that looks beautiful. All right, then I'm gonna take one of these little cute hearts, and I'm just gonna peel the sticker off, and we're gonna accentuate the front of this card. So now at this point I can just take my poker tool here. Whoops, I think I can do that. You know what, I'm gonna flip this around so I'm using the spatula. That gives me a little bit more real estate here to work with. So I just put that little heart onto the little spatula. This is a take your pick tool. And then I can just kind of eyeball and see exactly where I want it to be. And this just adds so much fun to this card. And we'll set it in there, give it a press. And the card is almost done. You'd think we were done, but we aren't quite done. I'm gonna grab the Gingham Gala self-adhesive sequins. Here we go. And again, I'm going to take the take your pick tool, and we can just use this little spatula, and we're going to put one of those sequins up here, and then we're going to take another sequin and add it, I think, about right here. So we're only adding 2 little sequins, but it's enough to make this card super pretty. What do you guys think? Do you love this card? I know, I do. It's one of my favorites. And I promise that if I send it out to you on Wednesday, it will have a little strip of designer series paper here. It just must have, I don't know if it fell or if I just never quite got it over here from my countertop. So there we are. Oh, yay, I'm seeing some hearts. You like the card. Thank you. Now we're going to jump in and make this second card because we have these little leftover hearts. We're going to be using those. And I've got some tips with the Big Shot that you'll need to know about as far as using the corrugated embossing folder. So I'm going to set this aside. And the next thing we're going to do is get all the things we need to make this heart. So this is how I'm going to decorate this envelope. So not too difficult. I'm just going to stamp that pretty little frilly heart into the bottom left of the envelope. How many of you are doing good on your New Year's resolutions? Did anyone have any stamping resolutions? I'm curious. If you had a stamping resolution, let me know what it is in the comments because as you know, my stamping resolution was to stamp my envelopes, and I actually started my New Year's resolution about November so that by the time the New Year's came along, I'd be well into doing it. And so far, I've been, doing pretty good. So we got that done. The next thing we're going to do is work on the inside panel because we'll just get that out of the way. So that's a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Whisper White. We are going to stamp Happy Valentine's Day just like so. And that's using lovely lipstick again. Then we're going to take a couple of those little sticker hearts that we made, and we're going to put those right onto this card. So we can put one here at the bottom, and then we'll add, we could just leave it like that, but I think it kind of looks fun to do one at the top too. So we're going to pick a smaller one for the top. And the Take Your Pick tool works great for putting your stickers on. So make a bunch of heart stickers, and then you can use your Take Your Pick tool to place them. Sometimes the fingers get in the way. So there's our second little sticker. Oh, for cute. I love it. Okay, so then we're just going to grab our card base, which is going to be lovely lipstick. This is one of our really pretty in colors. It's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then I've scored it at 4 1/4. And we are just going to take this along with some snail. Just all you need to do is put snail along the top. You don't need to make it so tight to your card. All of your more elegant cards have this loose and flowing feeling to them. So we want this to be a nice, elegant card. And then the second thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you some tips with using the Big Shot. And again, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but this card also uses those rectangles. So I'm going to grab the Big Shot machine, and we're going to make that rectangle thing first, and then we'll do the corrugated folder. So I sort of have that ready to go. Maybe I can run this through twice. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to grab that pretty heart and just stamp it right here on the scrap. And then we're going to add this to our sandwich area. Now, one thing I want to do when I'm making this, let me get rid of that. One thing I want to do is I'm going to make a little cutout. So with the rectangles, you can actually cut them. Let me show you what I'm going for, so that you get a little piece like this. And then I pre-cut this piece using the inner side. And that's what was cut out over here, because that's what we're going to mount this little heart on. But so I have that ready to go. But I did want to give you a tip for when you're layering the rectangles and you're trying to cut out these little windows. Go ahead and put a couple of pieces of washi tape just to hold these layers together. And then when you have this washi tape together, then you can do multiples of these without having to sit there and make sure that all 4 edges are perfectly even. So just go ahead and add a couple strips of washi tape, and then you can use this little sort of framelit that you've created over and over to make those little frame cutouts. So let's just make sure this stays in place. There we go. Now I'm going to grab the Big Shot machine and run this through. There we go. That's all there is to it. We're done. Except for the fact that we do need to do our corrugated piece. But here's our cute little heart cut out. And here is our rectangle. Let me get it. So here's a piece that you can use on another project. And then here's the piece that we're going to use on our project today. And then, because we used washi tape to hold this together, we could just go ahead and make multiples of these if we're making many, many cards with this. And so it just keeps it all so that all 4 borders are nice and even. All right, so now I think what I need to do is go ahead and do that corrugated bit for you, because I've got the Big Shot machine in the picture. A few of my customers have had trouble with the corrugated embossing folder. Things like this happen where everything gets shredded into little pieces like little matchsticks. And you can see this one too is starting to shred. And so let me show you what to do to prevent that, because there's nothing more annoying than not having a tool work the way you think it's supposed to work. So what you're doing here is we have this corrugated embossing folder, and I've got some arrows here to assist me so that, you know, if I don't use it for a certain amount of time, then I always have to struggle a little bit trying to remember what I'm supposed to do and what I'm not supposed to do. So you're going to be just using this with the Big Shot platform, and you only need 1 plate over the top because it's one of those super thick, super thick folders. And you see how I have my arrows like this with an X in? That means don't run it through like this, because if you run it through like this, where the hinge is to the top, you will get shreds like this. See? Sad. Unless you're going for that look. What you want to do is make sure that when you run it through the Big Shot machine, the open end is what you line up with the edge of your Big Shot platform. So it's the open end. That's why I have the little arrow going like that, so that I know that it goes this way, not this way. All right, and then what I have also found is if you just add, and I've run this Whisper White through once already, but if you just add a piece of Whisper White, and you can fit it on here pretty good because it goes right into those grooves where it was when it was cut out. Add yourself a piece of Whisper White that's as wide as the corrugated embossing folder, and then just a little bit shorter from the top. Then over the top of the Whisper White, take your 4 by 5 1/4 inch panel, because that's the size we want to create this card with. And this again is in Lovely Lipstick. Then you can just put it right here and close it up. And try to make sure that it's about as straight as it can be. Add your top plate, and then you're going to roll it through. And what happens is that Whisper White becomes kind of like a protector to the paper that you're rolling through. And you get a really nice corrugated piece of paper that is not going to split and break on you like this paper did. Okay, so that's one way to resolve that issue. All right, so I'm going to get this out of the way. And let me just show you again the card we're making. So we've got to find our panels here. And the first thing we're going to do, we're not actually going to put this on here yet, because I want to make sure that I can trim my ribbon even with this edge. So I'm going to take my Whisper White flax ribbon. This is new to Stampin' Up. It's part of our spring collection, and this is going to be my giveaway. So when you share this video or make comments on it, you get to a little piece of this, a 1 yard piece of this ribbon with oh my goodness, my tongue is all tied up, with whichever card you want me to mail you. I'll give you your choice. So I'm just going to cut this off at an angle. Then I'm going to take my snail, because snail is just so wonderful using on ribbon. And then we're just going to set this in. Ooh, kind of got it a little sticky on my fingers here. And we kind of want to go for about the middle of the card. So we're going to set this in like this. Maybe a little more to the left. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. All right, and then we're going to flip it over and we're going to trim this even with this edge. And then we can go ahead and glue this down onto our card base. All right. Oh, good. Some of you like those embossing tips. I didn't know if everybody knew that or not, but I figured there might be some newbies watching who maybe didn't know how to work with an embossing folder that, you know, that can be a little tricky to work with. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take some snail, and I'm putting, or not snail, this is glue. We're going to take some glue, and I'm putting a pretty generous amount on, because again, this is corrugated, so some of this glue is not even going to touch the card, so we have to put a little bit more on than what we normally would so that it can find its hold. So we'll just wiggle this into place, and that looks great. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and finish up everything we need for this card. So here is our little Whisper White cutout. Here's that little frame that we created when we put those two rectangular pieces together. And we're just going to set this in here. And then we can flip it over. Make sure that it's in there real nice. And just to hold it in place, I'm going to add a little Scotch tape. Whoops. There we go. Just add a little Scotch tape to these edges. That'll help hold it in place for you. And then we're going to take that You Make Me Happy stamp, because I love that so much. And we're going to stamp that at the bottom. So there it is. And it's so cool. So you're even saving some papers. So like your little cutout, you have this that you could either do some punching from or use it on another project. So this is a pretty economical way to use your glimmer paper. So we're going to take that sentiment, You Make Me Happy, and you guys do make me happy. Thank you so much for coming on here and watching. So we're going to set this right here. Ooh, I got it a little bit low, but that's okay. Nobody who's seen the original will know the difference. Then we're going to take the little heart here, and we're going to add some dimensionals. Thank you so much for sharing this video. You guys are so awesome. I love to see that. Thank you. And also I love reading your comments. I mean, We had such a busy weekend this weekend that I didn't get Friday's comments read until today, but they were just so fun. I loved going through and reading all of your comments. So now we're just going to put this heart right here, and then we're going to add a cute little heart to the edge. So I'm just grabbing again another one of these little heart stickers. I'm going to put my little spatula on it, figure out about where I want it. Maybe a little bit higher. There. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, so adorable. Now we can go ahead and add this to our card. So I'm going to add some dimensionals to each of these corners. And that again is going to help this all stay together in one neat little package. I mean, if you wanted to, you wouldn't have even had to tape it. You could probably dimensional it together. But I'm kind of a tape girl, so I like to keep Scotch tape in business. So I'm just pulling away all those little dimensional pieces, and we're just going to set this on here. I don't know, probably about like that. And then the finishing touch is to add something right here, because doesn't that look like it just needs a little something? So we're going to take our leaf trinket here. I'm going to take a silver one because silver looks nice with pink and pink sparkle. And we're just going to put that on with some glue dots. So I'm just going to open up my glue dots here, and we'll just add a couple of glue dots to this. Glue dots hold really, really well. I'm always amazed at how awesome they work. So we can just set this right in here, and look at that. It just makes such a difference to go from where we were to where we are. Just adding that little tiny trinket just makes such a difference. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Can you believe it or not? Well, I think we're going to finish in under an hour here. So we've got these two cards that we made, and then these are the other two cards that we did, or that I showed off today. So thank you for joining me. Again, I will do the drawing to give away the flax ribbon on Wednesday. So be sure you make your comments, and be sure that you run over to my blog at www.stampingtoshare.com, and I will have that blog post up on Wednesday as well. We'll talk to you soon, you guys. You have a great day. Bye-bye.